well, I only ask because you have a history of speaking to other women. But when I didn't fight for us, he got hurt. He got hurt? He got hurt. Bacon, bacon, bacon.
Bacon, bacon, bacon.
Wow, that's a real manly drunk. What do you think Gordon Ramsay would say if he saw this?
It's raw.
Exactly. Holy smokes! 4 hours? You're cooked, chef. So hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Layla, and today we're going to be checking out one of my newer favorite subreddits, r/Am I Overreacting? Now, this subreddit is pretty much how it sounds. People post a text conversation or a scenario that happened and describe what occurred, and then they ask people, am I overreacting? And from there, people go, not overreacting, yes, you're overreacting, etc., etc. A lot of these stories get genuinely insane, and that's why it's one of my favorite subreddits. So if you're into these Reddit stories, maybe you should consider subscribing, because I've now made it my personal goal to post one Reddit story every week. So everyone, what I want you to do is to grab your snacks, grab your drinks, get out comfy cozy, and let's just dive right in with the first post. Am I overreacting? Boyfriend said I overreacted when I refused to eat this fully cooked chicken. He said that since it was in the grill, it's 100% cooked, and that I'm overreacting for refusing to eat it. He also said it tastes fine, and that the texture was a bit weird, but the taste was fine. Oh, and that I'm picky because I wouldn't eat it anymore. Now, you are not prepared to see this chicken, because I was not prepared to see this chicken.
Warning, es quería leche.
Oh! He needs some milk!
In what? I can't even form the words to say how disgusting I think this is, because look at that. Chicken should not be pink. What would you say? What do you think Gordon Ramsay would say if he saw this?
It's raw.
Exactly. Hopefully it didn't touch the corn on the grill, because if this is his definition of cooked, then no telling what his standards for food safety is. Normally his food is cooked well, and I think some of these chickens were cooked through, with this one not. This sounds like some of it was still frozen in the middle. Do you know how/if he defrosted the chicken? Zoom in, it's completely raw, not just in the middle. So in my opinion, definitely not overreacting, and buddy has too much pride to admit that it's raw. It's also not good to eat raw chicken because that can cause health stuff, so anyways, on to the next post. Am I overreacting? Boyfriend hid his phone when I asked who he was messaging. Sounds like a red flag to me. I, 22 female, have been with my boyfriend, 27 male, for 1 year. He's cheated in the past, but we got over it. Earlier we were hanging out and he was texting so much, so I asked who he was messaging and he clammed up. I decided to leave, and these were the following messages. Am I overreacting? Hey, can we talk about earlier? I feel like it was weird you hid your phone. Bro, for real? Yes. No, this is stupid. Okay, well, I only ask because you have a history of speaking to other women. Awesome, just throw stuff from the past back at me. That's great. I'm not trying to, I'm just worried. Worried about what? I'm so dead ass. I'm not dealing with this Okay, I'm sorry. I just think it was weird that you hid your phone when I asked who was texting you. Like, that's weird. I hid my phone because you're insane. You let the past dictate everything without any concern as to how I feel. Well, I didn't mean to come off that way. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I think it's best that we take some space for a minute. I can't keep doing this. Okay, I love you. Good night. Yep. Good grief, he is definitely cheating or talking to another girl. He definitely has stuff on his phone he knows you wouldn't like. He definitely lied when he answered, why did you hide your phone? His answer, because you're insane. What? That makes no sense. You hid your phone to hide stuff. And then he's gaslighting you, acting like you're crazy, and disrespecting you and talking to you like you're a piece of... when he is the one who is effed up. And you said he cheated on you before too? Gross. How much are you going to put up with? Do you want to be a joke to everyone? Because you're bordering on that territory if you stay. This kind of stuff is why I give the stink eye to any significant age gap. Girlie, you were barely a whole ass adult. Like, for real, your actual physical brain still has 2 to 4 years left until it's fully developed, and you're trying to tiptoe around the tantrum of a scummy man-child who should damn well know and be better. As an aside, for anyone who might come in here talking about some stop infantilizing women BS, I'm pansexual and wouldn't F with anyone that young and lacking in life experience. I'd say the exact same stuff to OP if her partner were a woman. If OP was a man, or if both of them were African Greys. That's my exact feelings. If you're new to this channel, you might not know this, but I hate age gaps. Disapprove of them because usually when it's, I don't want to generalize too much, but usually when it's a male and a female and the guy is older, he's not a good person. And I don't know if it's age gap related or if it's because he went for someone younger, but you can just see that there's like something off about the older one in so many of these stories. And I'm sure it happens in the reverse too. I just haven't read too many of those. I think if someone cheats on you at any point in the relationship, it ends there. I don't understand the people who, like, work through a relationship and say, well, love wins out. No. You cheat on me, you don't get a second chance. Because, first of all, let's say he wasn't actually doing anything weird on his phone. You're still always going to think that in your head because you know he's capable of it, because he already did it one time. I think the issue with someone being disloyal to you and breaking your trust is that it's gonna be next to impossible to get it back. I think he probably is cheating, or at the very least, hiding something from her again, because his reaction is so over the top and like so overly defensive, and that's not how someone who has nothing to hide would react. Hiding your phone, weird. The response to that, weird. I hid my phone because you're insane. What? And that was pointed out, not by me. And then to say, okay, I love you, good night, and just yep, like that's really cold. So I think this guy is very emotionally immature, at best, and is most likely hiding something. Whether or not it's cheating, I don't know, but that's kind of where my mind would go as well, because it's just his reaction is so suspicious and over the top, and it's like, would a innocent person act this way? And because he has a history, chances are, statistically speaking, he probably is doing something with someone else that he shouldn't be doing. Anyone who talks to you this way, really not someone you want to be in a relationship with, and you have to ask yourself, is this how you want to spend the rest of your life? You know, the age gap, not a huge fan of, that's not really the point. But those are just my thoughts. Anyways, on to the next one. So this one people thought was fake, and it got downvoted, but I just wanted to read it because it made me kind of laugh. So anyway, am I overreacting for getting a barista written up after he mocked me for ordering a feminine drink? I went to this local coffee shop yesterday that my friend's been raving about. I ordered an iced lavender oat milk latte. Wow, say that 3 times fast. Iced lavender oat milk latte, iced lavender oat milk latte, iced lavender oat milk latte. Don't judge, it's hot out and I wanted something chill. And the barista, this guy in his 20s with a handlebar mustache and some Bass Pro Shops hat, literally laughed and said, wow, that's a real manly drink. I thought he was joking at first, so I kind of chuckled awkwardly. But then he turns to the other barista and goes, hey, I put some sprinkles on this one. It's for kind of Barbie over here. They both laughed, in front of like 5 other customers. I was honestly embarrassed and pissed. I didn't say anything right then, but I left a review on their website and sent an email to the store manager about it later. Turns out the guy got written up. Now my friend is saying I overreacted, that it was just a joke, and I should have shrugged it off. But, like, I'm a paying customer, I wasn't rude or anything, I just wanted a coffee, not to be made fun of like it was in a high school locker room. Am I overreacting, or was that actually way out of line for a barista? What kind of guy wearing a Bass Pro Shop hat is a barista? Something smells fishy here. Right, with a handlebar mustache? Okay. I can't believe this guy is drinking such a non-heterosexual drink. Let me steam this milk! As someone who works at a coffee shop in a small mountain town, that's what a lot of them look like here. Yeah, dog, you know, it is possible this did actually happen. I don't know. The thing is, let's treat it like it's real, and let's have a life lesson with Jessica. The truth is, if you order a drink, and it's what you want to drink, and someone makes fun of you for ordering that drink, it's unprofessional. There are certain jobs where people should not make a customer self-conscious or feel weird about their choice of drink or food or literally anything, because it's none of your business what your customer wants. If someone is paying for a drink, just make it, zip it, even if you're like, Senorita Awesome over here. Every time I get pumpkin spice, I feel like I'm being judged by a barista. because it's such a basic drink, but no one actually cares because most people are too overworked, have been working way too long and making so many drinks all day that they don't care if you order something girly. So do I believe the story is real? Not really. If you're a barista with a handlebar mustache and a bass pro hat, stop it. Don't make fun of customers. Also, there's no such thing as a girly drink. Okay, drinks don't have gender. Colors don't have gender. Smells don't have gender. Like, can we stop personifying these things and acting like it actually matters? Anyways, on to the next one. Am I overreacting? This girl I met on Hinge just pulled this off. So I, 21 male, have been texting this girl I met on Hinge, 19 female. We have been texting for almost 1.5 months now. She said she didn't want a relationship and that she felt like she would waste my time. I was a bit hesitant because I actually did like her a bit, but we hadn't gone on a date. So I wish her all the best and stopped texting for a few days. She starts sending me reels and good morning messages, so I play along and be her online friend, I guess. But anyways, to get back on these texts that happened today, she has her exams going on until the 12th of August, and I was honestly just checking in and asking how her preparations were going. After that, I thought I'd fool around a bit and texted her asking what her screen time is. I've never had anyone ask me that. Since any reel I scroll down to, I see she's liked it. So I made fun of her for having almost 4 hours of screen time just to mess around with her. I think that struck a nerve or something because she just started going on about how I don't have any manners. How am I supposed to know she's stressing out or whatnot? I mean, if my texts were that triggering, she could have just opened it later, right? I feel like she just needed another reason to stop talking to me. Am I overreacting? Holy smokes! 4 hours? You're cooked! Chef, yeah, chill. Good for you! Skull. Hold on. Almost half. Good for you! Skull. Yeah, what else am I supposed to say? Question mark? True. I thought you tried to defend yourself. Why would I defend myself? When it's my phone! My free will! I don't give a f about opinions, not gonna lie. For real, I respect that. I'm playing around with you, don't worry. I don't like the sound of that. Relax, I'm joking. Well, I'm studying like some freaking workaholic from... Wrote so many pages of notes and so many stuff to revise. And on top of that, joking and stuff, not something I would entertain. There's a limit for every Damn, my bad, I'm sorry. Never mind, let's not text henceforth. I'm genuinely pissed! Oh hey, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were gonna take it that seriously. I was just fooling around. I'll give you some space. If you are someone who can never understand situations and know how to behave, I don't find a reason to text you henceforth. Let's stop this right away. Maybe someday we can be friends. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just genuinely done. Alright, and she liked it. Brother, as a grown-ass man, I'ma give you advice man to man. I don't care how much you think you like a girl, or anybody for that matter. If they say they don't want a relationship, walk away. Especially people on dating apps that pull that stuff. Walk away. They are not worth the headache nor the heartbreak. Do something better with your time and effort. Let me rephrase that for a bit for everyone still reading. If she says that she doesn't want a relationship, just a friend, but you do want a relationship, but not be just friends, leave. You're wasting both her and your own time. You're both cool with a friendship? Nice. Both cool with a relationship? Also nice, but faking a friendship just so that you can get into the other's pants, and this goes for any and all genders by the way, is an insidious type of manipulation, and it won't end up the way either of you want it to be. I agree. Let's clap that comment up. That was a good one. I don't even know how high my screen time is. You know, some people have really high screen time. Some people have it really low. It really doesn't matter. It's really no one's business. But to freak out like that on this guy, I think she just wanted an excuse to get mad. You know, there are some people who I feel like they just want to be mad at someone all the time. I don't really know the story or the situation, but I do agree with the other commenters. You're wasting your own time if you keep talking to someone who doesn't want a relationship and you do. There's a hair in my face. I don't understand why people go on dating apps if they're not looking for a relationship. Yes, I know some people use that to look for hookups, but I don't know, it kind of seems like you're just wasting people's time. That's besides the point. I'm just of the opinion that to freak out on someone that immensely over something that In no way, shape, or form seems offensive. You can tell it's a joke, you can tell he's being sarcastic, so to get that hyper-defensive over something, are you alright? And I get it, maybe she's had a stressful couple days, maybe something's been going on, but there's no good reason to freak out on someone the way she did. I just found her a little bit disrespectful, and I personally would probably stop talking to someone just from that alone, because it shows that they can blow up at the smallest little thing. I don't think it was rude. I really wouldn't care. I'd be like, F you, this is my screen time. And then move on. I think some people just want someone to be mad at. I said what I said. Anyways, on to the next one. Am I overreacting? My girlfriend has been hiding a kid from me for 2 years. I don't know what to do. I, male 27, have been with my girlfriend, female 26, for almost 3 years. We moved in together a year ago, and I've honestly been thinking about proposing. She's kind, funny, smart, everything I thought I wanted in a life partner. But last week, my entire world flipped. A guy showed up at her apartment while she was at work. He said he was the father of her child, a son who's 4 years old. I thought he had the wrong person at first, but then he showed me photos of her and the kid together. It was real. When I confronted her, she broke down and told me everything. She had the child with him during a rocky part of her life, and she gave full custody to the father because she wasn't ready to be a mom. She said she didn't tell me because she was scared it would change the way I saw her. She begged me not to leave. Says she wants to start a life with me, maybe even have kids together in the future. But how am I supposed to trust her after this? How do you hide something like that from the person you love? I feel sick. I can't sleep. I feel like everything I thought I knew about her was fake. I don't know if I should walk away or try to forgive. Part of me still loves her. Another part feels like I've been living in a lie. Has anyone dealt with something like this? What would you do in my shoes? Hello, ChatGPT. How many times are you going to post this? Did she just abandon the kid? Or has she been seeking out to take care of this kid whose entire relationship? Either or, she cannot be trusted ever again. 1, if she abandoned the kid. Who's to say she will not just drop you when you have kids with her? 2, if she was taking care of the kid for 3 years lying to you about it. What else is she lying about? If run and never look back. I mean, I think there's more to the story than what's being told, you know? I don't really know, because I think it would be kind of weird for one day randomly to find out the person you've been with for years has a child that they never told you about. Now, I understand the fear of being judged if you did give up parental rights. That's not a situation I can really give much on because we don't know what was going on in her life at that time. We don't know anything about the father. Like, we don't have enough info to judge. Someone said that this was written by ChatGPT. I don't really know, but if they did repost the same story multiple times, maybe they're just writing fiction for fun. I don't really know. I think it would very much weird me out if I had been dating someone for several years and then found out they had a child that not only they didn't tell me about, I never knew existed, but they also gave up all rights for. Because that would make me question kind of their ability to have kids in the future. Would they get too overwhelmed to do so? That's just kind of where my thinking would be at. I think it's more a question of if this is something you can live with, if it's something you can trust them with going forward, and if there's this big of a secret that they've kept from you, is there anything else, you know? But those are just my thoughts. Anyways, on to the next one. This one's just funny. Am I overreacting? Should a 40-year-old and an 11-year-old get the same amount of bacon? Why or why not? My girlfriend claims her 11-year-old, and I, 40 male, should be splitting the bacon evenly. He's half my size. Thoughts? I tried every way to reason with her, and so far, nothing has stuck. Any suggestions? The size/age difference argument seems to fall flat for whatever reason. I want my damn bacon! Edit! Just want to be clear. This was more of a friendly post to help settle the argument, and no one got all that bent out of shape about the bacon. I mean, does he eat all the bacon? Is it a lot of bacon or a little bit? I find this whole thing pretty funny, but I feel like there are a lot of possible variables. If he eats it all, then I don't see why not, but then she could make you some more bacon if it's not enough for you? I just responded to someone else. But it was about 10 slices of bacon total. He did eat all that was given to him. I never thought we'd be talking about bacon this seriously. I don't see why, you know, the rule in my household growing up was only 2 slices of bacon at most per child. I feel like an 11-year-old packing away all that bacon makes sense because they're growing, but that just seems like an excessive amount of bacon to me. Simple solution, just make bacon for everyone. Everybody wins in the end. Bacon, bacon, bacon.
Bacon, bacon, bacon.
Just make sure everyone gets enough bacon, right? Win-win. Anyways, on to the next one. So this one's pretty terrible. Am I overreacting? It was all a prank to break up 2 days before my exam. 17 female, 18 male, have been together for almost 3 years, since I was 15. Recently, I took a week off from school to focus completely on preparing for an important exam. Then, 2 nights before my exam, out of nowhere, he texts me this and then stops replying. I spent the night crying and hoping he'd reply, but he never did. What a dude! I didn't flood him with messages or calls, but I waited and cried so much I got a fever. You poor child! Oh my gosh! The next day, I forced myself to put it aside and focus on studying. The day after my exam, when I returned to school, he didn't even look at me. I was devastated inside, but didn't show it. He knew I was hurting, and when my friends asked, I just told them we had broken up. I left school early that day, making up a health excuse. The next day after class, he pulled me aside and said he wanted to talk. I stayed silent and let him speak. He then told me it was all a dare, a prank, that he never really wanted to break up. You believe this? I don't believe this. He said he planned to tell me right after, but when I didn't fight for us, he got hurt. He got hurt? He got hurt. He was embarrassed because he did it in front of all of his friends, and it looked like I didn't care that much. So he wanted to see if I just let us end without trying. I was stunned. How did he expect me to react? Cry in front of everyone? I had been waiting for a reply from him. Why make it a dare in the first place? And why choose 2 days before my exam when he knew how important it was for me? He kept talking about how hurt he was. I just looked at him and said, F you, and ran away. Literally ran away because I was about to cry and because what the F? This is insane. Who does this? Of course, now he realizes his mistake and is apologizing sincerely. He seems genuinely hurt, but I'm just so broken. Why would he do this? I know I would never do something like that to him. Was this a misunderstanding? Okay, what's up? You're dry as hell. I want a breakup. Not funny. I am not joking. Okay, but you never told me you were unhappy before this. Why? Do you not even want to talk about it? In person? Yeah, no. This is so absurdly cruel. And whether either of you realize it or not, this is emotional abuse. Your partner and family, but this discussion isn't about them, are supposed to be the people who love you more than anyone else in life. People who you can rely on, lean on, and know would never purposely do something to hurt you. They are the last people who should go out of their way to hurt you. That is what your boyfriend did. He went out of his way to hurt you. Let's layer it with the disrespect and blatant disregard to your exam, which was important to you and a huge deal. He does not respect you. He does not love you. Run away from him as fast as you can. 1, he did this before the exams so you wouldn't do better than him. 2, the person he dumped you for laughed at him when he asked them out. 3, he's catching hell from the friend group for hurting you. Yeah. I know 18 is quite young. Go to sleep, bruh. Go to sleep! 18 is quite young. And I know, like, emotional maturity, mental maturity, all of that, not really fully developed, but if you actually love someone, you wouldn't pull that kind of prank on them. You wouldn't even think of doing that. If you truly, truly care about someone, that's not something you would do. I think it's really disrespectful. I think it was cruel, and I think, without necessarily meaning to, put an end to the relationship. At least it would destroy the relationship for me. It showed a side to this guy that is so incredibly cruel and unkind and kind of a pansy for going along with a dare that obviously would be very destructive towards a person, and especially right before an exam. Like, you're a bad person for that. And I think for me, that would just end the relationship there. There would be no coming back from that. I don't really know where they ended up. You know, I haven't seen any updates from this account, but for a lot of people, that level of disrespect would just, like, be so eye-opening as to the person you're with and how they are just not the right person for you if they think this level of behavior is okay. I don't care what age you are, you should know that it's not appropriate to do something this damaging to someone who loves and cares for you. And if you truly cared for them in the same way that they cared for you, you wouldn't even entertain this as a thought in the first place. So it's insanely cruel, really mean, and in general just shows what an absolutely awful person you are. Those are my thoughts, though. Anyways, on to the next one. Am I overreacting? Our Airbnb creeped me out. Stayed in an Airbnb in the country. Super removed. Terrible reception that gave me the ick. The entire time we were there, I could not sleep. The carpet was covered in these reddish stains. I kept finding these random splatters and stains on the furniture, walls, and ceiling. I found cameras inside the Airbnb and outside. There was a locked cellar we could not access. Outside the property, I saw a lone shovel and wheelbarrow. Oh, and the walls and ceiling were super white and thick, like they had just been painted, and like there were several coats of paint. The windows were even painted shut. I just had a creepy feeling the entire time we were there. Does this seem suspicious to anyone else? Should I do anything with these photos? My husband kept telling me none of the things I was noticing were concerning. Is anyone else seeing what I'm seeing? Or am I just overreacting? Here's photo 1. Blood would turn darker because it oxidizes or whatever. So I don't, that just looks too fresh to be blood to me. Anyways. That looks like coffee stains on the wall. It looks like a coffee stain on the wall. That looks like some hamburger meat juice. That one kind of looks like blood, actually. Can I zoom in? That one just looks like candle wax to me. I don't know. That could be blood. That looks like, not blood to me, because again, oxidization, it would be more like a rusted color. Oh, that's quite a large stain, though. Maybe they just spilled, like, a ton of cherry juice. It's weird that they didn't take a picture of the cellar or anything like that, or the shovel. I would have loved to have seen that. Just to ease your worries, that's not blood. Blood dries to a darker brown red tone, not as bright red as the picture shown. Likely it's wine, sun, or water damage, a DIY fail, damage from other guests, and / or vomit or other acidic substances that can react with carpet dye. The smaller spots on the windowsills is likely excrement from insects. Cameras outside is common for potential intruders. Cameras inside in common areas may be to get evidence if any guests cause damage, but I admit that the inside cameras are odd. The cellar is probably unfinished and likely used for storage, and they don't want people messing with it. The thick paint is likely because they had to paint over stained walls / ceilings to make them look nicer, which would make sense with the amount of damage the carpet shows, and if they tend to DIY things. I think these people are just DIYers, you know. That's my opinion. I can't explain some of the stuff. Indoor cameras would creep me out just because I'd feel like I'm being watched that entire time. Hello? You know, like the cellar and stuff, that could be explained quite easily. I'm interested in the shovel and all that, but maybe they just have like a kind of poor house where they don't have money to fix things up professionally. Sometimes, fortunately, jobs look really janky when you do them yourself, but that's the price you pay for cheap labor, am I right? So, I wouldn't necessarily jump to anything creepy, but there is kind of a weird vibe about it. I don't like the indoor cameras. So I wouldn't say you're overreacting per se, I just don't think they're like secret killers. You know, being removed from everything. It just creeps you out, you know, when you think about the potential of things. I think a lot of us have overactive imaginations. So anyways, on to the next one. Am I overreacting? I think my flatmate might be a serial killer. Not posting this off my main account to protect myself. I came home a few hours ago and immediately knew something was off. It smelled like burnt plastic or paper in the kitchen. I'm a bit nosy, so I checked around, thinking maybe one of the electronics was short wiring or something, I don't know. I checked everywhere, eventually realizing the smell was the worst in the trash. I found a bunch of burnt note cards. I tried to decipher the two most legible, and one shows what looks like a map. There's also two names, Keith or Koith and Misha. It clearly says 28-year trophy on the K card, and I think 17-year on the Misha card. My flatmate has been extremely cold and distant the last few months. At first he was super friendly, but it's been like living with a ghost recently. I strictly know him via the ad I responded to when I was looking for this spot. He works at a grocery store. Please tell me I'm overreacting here. What do these notes even say? I loved their eyes. I loved their smile. I love this one a lot. Keith was a 28-year-old trophy. I don't like that at all. That's a question. Why would using your throwaway account be any better than your main account? One look at those photos and your flatmate would know it's you in any case. Using a throwaway doesn't change if somebody who reads your story recognizes it. It's just a degree of separation from your main account. I.e. a friend who knows your username can't connect it to the story / somebody who recognizes the story can't follow it to anything else about you. Yeah, I mean, they posted about 10 hours before your post that the privacy they are protecting is the fact that their main account is full of nude selfies, not that they are afraid of the serial killer finding his note cards. What? Huh? What? What? Quite honestly, I think you were probably overreacting. I also think this is probably fake, but just in case. But I think you should carefully put those notes in plastic baggies and take them to the local police station. If you are afraid to even do that, then call Crime Stoppers and ask them for help handling the notes over anonymously. It's probably nothing. Maybe he was playing an RPG and those are the character notes, or it's an old notebook from high school that he realized would seem creepy if anyone read it, and thought he wrote it as an adult, so he burned it. But you don't want it on your conscience that you had these suspicions and did nothing. So give the notes to the police and they will be able to search records and find out if this seems like a clue in any case. I mean, yeah, I would rather be safe than sorry. I think maybe it's just the lack of context, you know? Our minds kind of just run wild with that. I would feel a little bit uncomfortable if I were living with someone I don't really know that well, and I found burned notes in the trash with names of people I don't know. And the trophy part? Like, what is that? Huh? That is creepy. It would be unnerving, and I would, at the very least, hand these things over just in case. Or maybe keep an eye out on your roommate and see if there's any other suspicious activity. I would rather be safe than sorry. You know, and maybe also even do research on people who recently died or went missing. With those names, as much as an overreaction as that is, because I would just be curious, like, is there something that happened to people with these names? It's most likely nothing, but just in case you're living in some crazy story, I would rather be safe than sorry. Anyways, on to the next one. So we have now reached the time of the night where we read one last crazy one. So here's our last story for the night. Am I overreacting for not letting my mother-in-law post pictures of my newborn online? I, 27 female, gave birth to my daughter 2 weeks ago. My husband, 30 male, and I agreed long before I got pregnant that we wouldn't post any photos of our future children online until they were old enough to consent. We even told our families about this multiple times. It's not new information. Well, my mother-in-law apparently thinks she's the exception to every rule. The day we came home from the hospital, she showed up uninvited with a camera, took a bunch of photos of the baby, and the next morning I woke up to see my newborn's face plastered all over her Facebook, Instagram, and even in a local community group with captions like "Meet my granddaughter." Yikes! I was livid. Not only did she ignore our very clear boundary, she also posted personal details. My daughter's full name, birth date, weight, and even the hospital we were in. I immediately called her and told her to take everything down. She laughed and said I was being dramatic and that everyone posts baby pictures, and besides, she's her granddaughter too. I told her this wasn't up for debate, and if she didn't remove the posts, she wouldn't be getting any more visits with the baby until she could respect our rules. She got angry, told my husband I was controlling, trying to keep her from her grandchild, and now the whole family is blowing up my phone saying I'm overreacting and robbing her of her joy. My husband is on my side, but his relatives are making me feel like the bad guy for enforcing this. I don't think it's unreasonable to protect my child's privacy, but now I'm being painted as some kind of cruel gatekeeper. Am I overreacting? Well, I guess she's not seeing your kid anytime soon then. Let your hubby handle the crazy bee. Delete and block and enjoy your new family. Pretty much my plan at this point. I'm done stressing over her. Hubby can deal with his mom while I focus on my baby. Also report the photographs too. Hopefully you can get them taken down without her involvement if necessary. Not the a-hole? What? This isn't about her joy. It's about your baby's safety and consent. She can knit a blanket or scrapbook photos for herself if she wants to celebrate. Yeah, I mean, I understand not wanting to post your kids on social media. I don't have any myself, but I think keeping your kids off social media, especially with the horrible times we're living in currently, it's a good idea. It's respectful towards your future child, and for someone to come in and be like, well, I do what I want, so F you. Like, nobody's robbing her of her joy. She could have spent time with the baby, done things with the baby, got to see the baby, but no. You had to cross people's boundary, you had to disrespect what they requested, and then you plastered personal information online into groups of people who don't even know this child. Like, honestly, that's where the concern lies, is not just posting these pictures of this baby, but posting personal details up to and including birth date, weight, full name, hospital she was born at. Like, doxing people is shockingly easy. and they've just made it 1,000 times easier. You know, it doesn't matter if nothing even comes from this. It's just disrespectful if people tell you not to do something and you do it anyway. And someone like that, you know, you really gotta question, like, would you want them around your kid if you know they're gonna continuously do that? I think the rest of the family not understanding the dangers of posting kids on social media as well, really, it takes me off, because kids should not be on social media. Their faces should not be plastered online, even amongst your tiny little social media, even if it's private, even if it's just family and friends. Your kids should not be plastered all over the internet until they are old enough to be like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. And if someone tells you not to do something, you should just respect that. It's really not that hard. She could have had photos in her phone to look at and be like, oh, how precious. No, she had to go and post this child online. So for that, I say you're not overreacting. Not even almost. So yeah, guys, that was our last one for the night. This subreddit we first checked out way back in March, but I didn't post that video until this summer. But I really like this subreddit. There's a lot of stories that are just like genuinely insane, just mind-blowing the way people treat each other. It's really eye-opening as well. And it's probably one of my top 3 subreddits. Am I the A-holes up there? The relationship subreddit and this one are probably like my top 3. Because they get kind of juicy sometimes. Not to like water down human events into that, but there's like stories on there that are just sometimes so shocking. So if you want to go and check out the subreddit or read through any of the posts we read through tonight, everything will be linked down below. And if you're like, I want more and you want to spend more time with me, well, first of all, what you can do is subscribe, hit that button. I'm watching you. And you can also watch the playlist down below full of my other Reddit stories. There's quite a mix in there, you know, quite a mix. Quite a mix! So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.